Hello everyone, this is video 12. We are going to start a new section called Entering Lesson Plans. We've got our planner all set up, everything is linked to Aware, all of our schedule is correct, so now we're actually going to start entering the lesson plans. And this particular video is going to talk about the lesson planner components. So specifically the components of the lesson plan is what I want to describe. So this is your general workspace that you will arrive to each and every time. So let's start up here in the upper left-hand corner and kind of go through what components are available here. First, you have your calendar, and if you remember back a couple of videos, if you have a day that's bolded, such as here in this scenario, we have the 17th and 18th bolded, that means we've gone in and we've done some sort of editing in that day. So you can very quickly go and see where you've done editing. Now, it doesn't mean that that day's lesson plan is done or finished. It just means that you've gone into that day and done something on that day. You may have simply clicked on it just to look at it, and Eduforia put the stamp of your schedule on there, and that will show that you made some editing in there. Don't assume that because they're bold that they're done. It just means you've gone in and done something in there. You have some little arrows. The arrows, the single arrows go left and right 1 month. So we can back up to April 2017 if we wanted to, and go back to May 2017. The double arrows on either side go back a year. Now, since we're just now launching Forethought, you're not going to have any data there at this point in time. However, as we move forward, Forethought saves all of your data. And so a year later, you can go back and say, well, what was I doing in this class a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and so on and so forth. And so you can actually look back and see where you were the previous years once we have used this program for several years. If you scroll on down, if you come on down from there, it says My Lesson Plans. You have the My Lesson Planner. That's the planner that you set up the schedule. In later videos, we'll talk about sharing a planner with someone who maybe you have common planning time with and you want to share lesson ideas, or maybe you want to share with your other English teachers around our organization. If you are allowed to see theirs, their lesson planners will show up here in this list. And if you're on a team planning, let's say you have a group or a team planning some summer lessons, that planner, if you were on a team, would actually show up here. But for now, you only have the one because this is the one you set up. But as you share or people share with you, their planners will show up. And if you're assigned to some sort of team planning, then those calendars will show up as well. Right below that is a search bar. You can actually search your lesson plans for particular keywords, like maybe you're looking for a particular standard, or you're looking for a particular activity, a particular vocabulary exercise. You actually can search for those here. Your planner options, we will talk about creating a new team in a later video, but right below that is change my settings, and we have gone through all of that. That's what we did in setting up your planner. You know how to set your schedule, set your daily planner, also how to edit, how to link them to Aware, how to do subnotes, and all that kind of thing. So all that's listed there in change my settings, and we have already been through all of those settings in the previous videos. Then across the top here, this piece in the middle is the meat of your lesson plans. This is where you do your planning. This is where you're going to put all your information. This is what the meat of the lesson plan is that you're going to deliver for that high quality instruction. The one thing I will comment on, and you've been seeing it through the videos, but this is the first time I'm going to comment on it, is there is a format for doing your lesson plan. So for example, it's going to tell you what day you're on. So when we start the new school year, it'll be day 1 or day 2 or day 5, whatever, and it has the date, and that will be built in. It tells you what period. This is the title of your course. Of course, we labeled it Period 1 English 1, so that's what it's labeled. And then there's some general toolbars here that we'll get into a little bit later. But basically, you're going to give your unit title, your lesson title. Your preparations for learning is the student is expected to, and you're going to write those out. As you write those out, and you get ready for your next one, it's going to number it for you, as you can see there. Let me go ahead and delete that just so it's not there. And then you're going to assign your key vocabulary. You're going to have your essential question for the day. And then your instruction piece is going to be your connection to previous learning. You'll put that. your instructional activities. By the way, we do the I do, we do, you do format. So I do, I'm going to give you some activities and we're going to do some demonstrations or whatever that is to demonstrate what skill you're going to be learning today or what activity you'll be working on today. The checks for understanding is the we do, the guided practice. So you're going to put your guided practice activities there. Your independent practice is the you do. So you're going to put those there. And then your lesson assessment. These are all components that you see so far that you should have every single day in every single lesson, including your lesson closure activities. Now, we at SOPI have added a couple of pieces here that are unique to the lesson plan. This one right here is your SOPI test artifacts and evidence and teacher reflection. So, you know, according to your SOPI test, that you have to collect evidence of meeting the standards on your rubric. So here you can make notes of what evidence will be available. I'm going to hang the lesson assessment will be a ticket out the door, and I will disaggregate that data and keep it wherever. So you're just going to kind of put some notes there for that. And then you're going to reflect. And what happens here is you put the reflection here after you've delivered the lesson. So I think every one of us as teachers have gone and go, wow, that lesson really was strong, but I'd like to do this differently. Well, that's what you would put here. Strong lesson, kids really liked it, students really liked it, but I would change this part of it. That's what you're going to put on the reflection. It could be, wow, that lesson bombed, and this is why I think it bombed. Let's change it this way for next time. So that as you have these here, and you go back from year to year, you have those notes for you to remind you, wow, that lesson was really good with that class, but this lesson bombed. And so you can start making better decisions based on that. Then on the far right here, or I'm sorry, let's go back to the toolbar. The toolbar is very generic. You have save, print, spell check, undo, redo, those sort of things. And you can hover over those buttons and see what they do. They are very specific and generic to like a Microsoft Word button type things. Over here on the right side is what we call your curriculum pane. So here you can see we can scroll down to whatever courses we're teaching, and it's going to pull up those curriculum standards. So let's go ahead and pull up English 1, since that's our very first course that we're teaching. So we're going to look here at English 1, and we can look at the proficiency standards. We have each of our 9 weeks, and then we have our teacher resources. I want to go ahead and open up the first 9 weeks here, and I'm going to click on one time this very first TEK is here. And I want you to observe that this little window pops up down here, and you have 3 tabs: resources, you have the Texas flag, and then you have this symbol called history. So on the resources, you're going to have standards clarification. The standards clarification is going to provide you with the TEKS verb, the textual content, what they're going to distinguish in, give you some vocabulary, give you some STAR EOC notes, all that wonderful stuff. And you have these for each of the standards that are listed in your course sequence. Really nice opportunity, really nice tool to be able to make sure that you're teaching to the level of the verb and you're hitting everything that's going to be there for the purpose of EOC testing. Very, very nice tool. Let me go ahead and close out this 9 weeks, and that's for each of your 9 weeks. You have those for all of your standards. On teacher resources, I already had it open, but you can open up your teacher resources. And when you click on any of these areas, it's going to list those resources down here, just like it did when we were over here on the scope and sequence, this tab over here. And you can click on them, and it does a little quick pop-up window to tell you that there's a document attached. It's a vocabulary prediction chart. Predict the meaning of the vocabulary words and those sort of things. And so you can quickly go through that. If you double click on it, it's going to open up a bigger pane so that you can see more details. Now one of the really nice little things here is you can actually click here once you're lesson planning, and it automatically adds it into your plan if you choose to use this. It just moves it right over, and you don't have to retype it in and go through all that. So it saves a little bit of time. But for now, we're just looking at these resources. And so basically, that's all the components of the lesson plan. Again, remember, one of the focuses is putting all the resources in the same area. So if you were going to do a performance assessment over writing an engaging story, you can double click here, you like it, or you can go in and edit it, and then use in plans. So it's a really, really functional, really easy, really time-saving tool as well, with all of your resources that you would need in order to make highly effective lessons and ultimately deliver highly effective lessons as well. That is the basic components. We're going to go into more details of exactly how you do lesson planning and move things in future videos. But thank you so much, and y'all enjoy planning in forethought.